After years and years of the Rays being a baseball laughingstock in terms of ballparks, as it's widely accepted they have the ugliest one, it's been an ongoing question where or if they will ever get a new ballpark, if they even stay in the Tampa Bay area to begin with. But what if I told you, actually it's cooler when that 30 for 30 guy says it.
What if I told you
that a hurricane would be what was needed for the answer to this question? To this cloud looming over the Rays' future for the last 20 years or whatever. Now, I know hurricanes are natural disasters. I understand you can't fully plan for them, but part of me feels like the Rays and the people running the politics behind the ballpark situation are idiots for not factoring this in when they agreed to the plan to build a new ballpark months ago. Like, could they not have factored this in? Was there no way to think about how a potential hurricane could hurt this situation? I know hurricanes only happen every single year in Florida, but you'd think this would be thought about. This past summer, the Rays came to an exciting agreement for a new $1.3 billion ballpark deal to build one in the same spot Tropicana Field is in, which is what was a little questionable about the decision. A big criticism of Tropicana has always been its taste. Some have even gone as far as to call it vile and disgusting. And a big criticism of the ballpark has been its location. It's not always been a very easy or convenient place for people to go to or drive to. It's not even in Tampa Bay. It's in St. Petersburg on like its own island, basically. It's kind of out of the way. So not at all like where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play, for example. So building a new park was great, but putting it in the exact same location doesn't really solve the issue of the park's non-existent attendance for its entire existence. It was also in the plans to build a whole atmosphere around the new park, which is smart, like also putting places for people to live, restaurants, bars, a hotel, office, and retail space, etc., rather than just what it is now in a big old parking lot. So I guess that's cool, but the attendance thing would still be a question. Can you really change it that much if you're not moving at all? Even if it's the nicest, shiniest new ballpark ever? Well, either way, the best part about it was the fact that the Rays were here to stay. They weren't going anywhere, and baseball in the Tampa Bay region was safe. And then Hurricane Milton entered the chat and blew the frickin' roof off of Tropicana Field. And when asked why, Milton had this to say.
Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
That's hurricanes for you. And it's also caused a much larger issue than just, oh no, the roof is broken, it needs to be fixed. This might have just begun the end of the Rays in Florida altogether. All those talks and suggestions about, oh, the Rays should go to Montreal. How about Nashville, North Carolina, Utah with the Mormons? Well, you can bring those conversations right back up as what seemed like a done deal set positive future for the Rays has turned into a complete disaster. So because of the roof getting torn off, the Rays of course need that repaired. That's kind of important. But unfortunately, the St. Petersburg City Council decided not to approve the over $23 million it would take to repair Tropicana Field, something that's actually estimated to cost more than $56 million to fix before 2026, which according to Mayor Welch of St. Petersburg, the majority of that will likely be paid for by insurance and FEMA reimbursements. The council had actually originally voted 4-3 to approve the repairs, but later reversed course and decided not to approve them after hearing what Rays president Brian Auld recently told reporters. He didn't like the decisions being made and where this was all heading after Pinellas County commissioners delayed a vote on the bonds necessary to fund for the stadium deal until after the November election. Then, two new commissioners voted into office where both people Auld believes are likely no votes against the stadium deal's funding, saying there are more no votes than yes votes at the county, and that causes a massive issue. But the different commissioners involved in this deal with the Rays haven't been happy with what they see as a lack of communication, and also feel like the Rays are being a lot more negative and bleak on this whole thing than they are. Like Rays owner Stu Sternberg recently implied they lost the county as a partner, even though all the people in the county seem very open to making this work, with Pinellas County Commissioner Brian Scott not holding back a single word with his thoughts on Sternberg and the Rays. Watch.
I think the Rays strategy sucks, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it has for quite some time. They are horrible communicators, and I think they're the most politically tone-deaf organization I've ever met in my life.
Scott says he still supports and is in favor of the deal, calling it transformational for the county, but is questioning the Rays' motives. And I don't blame Scott for that. As we've seen with the way the A's ownership and Major League Baseball handled the Oakland situation, Sternberg seems to be playing politics with no clear positive end goal in mind to keep the Rays in Tampa. A few years ago, Sternberg came up with the whole Montreal-Tampa split idea, where he genuinely thought it'd be a cool cool idea to have the Rays split their home games in Tampa and Montreal. He started even promoting it, even in like the postseason that year, until that plan got killed. A year ago, it was reported he was open to selling the team. That hasn't happened. Sternberg's also blatantly said that the Rays are here to stay, and then coming up with a deal to build a brand new ballpark in St. Pete, and now all of a sudden he's bringing up the idea of relocating the team entirely. Seem familiar?
Well, we are committed to Oakland. We have several sites in Oakland. We are the Oakland Athletics, and I think that's some of the big news today, that we are committed to that community. We have a great history here, almost 50 years, and we have several sites both downtown and here at the Coliseum complex that I think can work and be very successful to create really an amazing fan-friendly stadium like a lot of the other new venues across Major League Baseball, and also enable us to invest more in the team and compete for another World Series.
This is a lie.
Sternberg said that they're running out of time and relocation isn't an unlikely conclusion. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a guy willing to do whatever it takes to keep the Rays in Tampa. What it seems like from the outside looking in is that he's not very committed to making this work and seems very quick to call it a failure, basically. Baseball's commissioner Rob Manfred recently addressed any relocation talk by saying, "We're committed to the fans in Tampa Bay. I think given all that's happened in that market, we're focused on our franchise in Tampa Bay right now." Also seem familiar?
How'd that plan turn out for you?
To make things even worse, the Rays, of course, who are homeless with their ballpark partially destroyed, will be playing in a minor league ballpark in 2025. And it's also looking like they won't be playing at the Trop in 2026 either. They're going to be playing at the Yankees spring training facility, Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, a place with the capacity of 11,000 people. Now, yeah, that's basically a big crowd for a Rays game at the Trop, but to play in a minor league park, just like the A's will be doing for a few years in Sacramento, it's not right. Yeah, welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays game, everyone. Well, you will find an 11,000 seat minor league ballpark with Yankees logos and themed stuff everywhere because it's not even their frickin' place. It's a joke. What are they going to do if the Rays are good next year? You can't have playoff games in a small minor league spring training park. So what are they going to do? And that's after all the trouble of getting through a whole regular season to begin with a bigger issue at play being the weather. It rains, like, all of the time in Florida. You never see rainouts because the Rays and Marlins, well, they play under a roof. But, the Rays roof is kind of like not there anymore, so what now? Well, yeah, that's another thing to deal with. All the constant rain delays and postponements that will inevitably come. This whole thing has turned into one big ugly mess, one that really does seem will end with the Rays leaving Florida entirely. It's not certain, but man, it really does seem kind of likely at this point. And it's wild to think that a hurricane is a massive reason as to why this is a very possible reality. Let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.